This is an important topic to talk about because the law of attraction concepts have become really mainstream. And a lot of these concepts actually have the capacity to render a lot of psychological damage. I've seen it in my clients. I've researched how therapists in general are becoming more concerned about the prevalence of these concepts, and people are showing up in counseling offices with anxiety spurred by law of attraction ideas. Some people don't have an issue with practicing manifestation or the law of attraction at all, but research shows that particularly people prone to OCD, intrusive thoughts, and anxiety experience the toxic effects these concepts have on mental health. I did make a video on this topic before, but I fear I explained things in a way that was just a little too complicated. It was very deep and philosophical, so this is me having another crack at it in a way that I think will be much more simple and clear. So I think in this way I'll be able to answer the questions that people usually have about the law of attraction much better. So the law of attraction is a relatively new belief system compared to Taoism, which is its primary inspiration, which is over 2,000 years old. The law of attraction is a super new idea. The very first references to it happened in the 1850s, the same time that some other similar philosophies were popping up, like the prosperity gospel and manifest destiny in America. The law of attraction says that what you think you attract, right? Now, speakers often attribute this phrase to Buddha. Buddha never said any such thing. And it's important these days to make sure we're not getting false information about who said what. And even with all these AI videos cropping up on the internet, it's crazy. People can even make it seem like somebody said something that they never did. So just be careful about your sources of information. But anyways, with the law of attraction, the idea is that when you think certain thoughts, you emit a vibration. And that vibration attracts the events of life to you. So if you think negative thoughts, you attract negative life events. And if you think positive thoughts, you attract positive life events. Are you already starting to see why this philosophy is giving people anxiety? Yeah, it's very toxic. The implications are, of course, that anytime something bad happens to someone, they subconsciously attracted that thing. Even things like illness or violence. There are so many layers as to why this is bad for mental health. But just to be concise, let me just dive right into it. I want to first bring up what to me is the most obvious problem with this theory, and that is that human beings don't have like one unified vibration. This is just not how our physical bodies work. It's really tempting when you don't really understand science to say, like, yeah, I have a vibration, because we have these thinking minds, these selective minds, and the common way to live is kind of all wrapped up in the mind and to place so much emphasis on it. But our minds are not us. This just isn't how our bodies work. We have so many systems in our bodies. When physics talks about vibration, it's referring to a measurable oscillation, a measurable movement, a frequency, a wave pattern. Think about light or sound. But human beings aren't just one thing. We aren't a unified thing, actually. We're a multitude of systems. So we have hormonal systems, brain waves, electrical impulses. We're more of a complex ecosystem than anything else, and there's no unified vibration that we could possibly emit. All animals are like this. A quick metaphor I'll give is whenever people say like, our bodies need to be alkaline. Well, what does that mean? Which part of your body? because your stomach needs to be very acidic, your blood should be alkaline, your skin should be slightly acidic. So again, it's tempting for humans to think of themselves as this one unified person, right? Because we have these thinking minds that we tend to be really obsessed with, but we don't have a singular vibration, and neither do life events. So you can't attract a job opportunity or a new house or a car accident. Events in life don't have vibrations. This is an invention of the imagination. So it's really important that we understand this because the law of attraction is still gaining popularity and it's very bad for mental health. I find it important to talk about this topic on this channel particularly because I promote acceptance and commitment therapy here. And I've found in my experience that a lot of people who've been exposed to the law of attraction have anxiety about acceptance because, well, if you believe that accepting negative thoughts will bring you negative life events, why would you want to accept your negative thoughts and feelings? See, that's what acceptance and commitment therapy is all about. It's about working with our uncomfortable emotions rather than against them. Notice I use the word uncomfortable instead of negative, because negative is a judgment. When we condemn all uncomfortable emotions as dangerous or unproductive, we miss out on the very rewarding opportunity of acceptance. It's ironic as well because the law of attraction was inspired by Taoism, which is a very old tradition that actually deeply emphasizes acceptance. In Taoism, there's a core concept called Wu Wei, which translates non-doing or effortless action. So it actually means that we're giving up control and trusting a deeper intelligence within us in order to live our best lives. In the law of attraction, they kind of take this concept and bend it, make it out like we are these directors of vibration, sort of using the intelligence we hold within like a tool to get what we want in life. And this is a really striking deviation from Taoist thought, which doesn't see human minds as like directors or manifestors at all, but rather sees the human mind as just one more component in a very interconnected natural world. I think it's important to discuss Taoism and Wu Wei here while we're talking about the law of attraction, because I do want you all to understand that it's very, very possible to live spiritually and mindfully without buying into New Age spiritual concepts. So whatever religion or spirituality you practice, if you practice one at all, it can stand on its own. And I think that's important to say because the law of attraction is finding its way into all sorts of conversations right now. And people who promote it tend to try to link it with practices like Zen Buddhism. And I'm not crazy about this. We need to give these very old philosophies the credit they deserve because they contain a great deal of wisdom. But yes, you can be spiritual. You can pray if that's what you do. You can believe in universal connectivity if that makes sense to you. You're allowed to establish your spiritual understanding for yourself. And don't let the law of attraction attach itself to what you want to practice just because these speakers are kind of trying to wriggle their way into these conversations. So the last thing I want to touch on before we wrap up in this video is that it's perfectly okay to work with your negative emotions. So you don't have to banish them from your experience. You don't have to obsessively write 30 affirmations in your journal a day and avoid uncomfortable thoughts at all costs. Working with discomfort is a long-standing spiritual practice with roots in pretty much every single spiritual tradition. And I do talk a lot about this sort of thing on this channel, so if you want to learn more about acceptance as a mental health tool, go ahead and subscribe so my videos will find their way to you. In our society, we deem some emotions as bad, right, and some as good. But when we do that, we kind of strengthen the hold that uncomfortable emotions have on us. What we resist persists is a good phrase to use here. What is so much healthier is to normalize uncomfortable experience as part of life. It's a much more effective way of combating anxiety. And the funny thing is that when you lean into acceptance, your discomfort lessens. Some philosophers, like Alan Watts, they call this the backwards law. And it's kind of the opposite of the law of attraction, actually. So I think this has been a good, simple breakdown of why the law of attraction is not only toxic for mental health, but also why it doesn't make sense and why it doesn't have to be part of your spirituality. And really quickly, too, I do want to say that there are aspects of this New Age philosophy that I think are pretty cool. Particularly, I like the idea that it's important to clarify what you want in life. And this can help us achieve clarity in our goals. And of course, positivity and hopefulness has endless benefits. But we need to learn to be balanced. We need to learn when to lean into positivity while staying rooted in our practice of acceptance. So, yeah, you can take bits and pieces from the law of attraction and make them your own. Make them work for you. You're allowed to reframe things and believe in a universe that you understand. I want to leave you with a little quote by Eckhart Tolle. He said, whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it. Always work with it and not against it. Make it your friend and ally and not your enemy. And this will miraculously transform your whole life. Thanks for watching.